now I like my sleep. So I'll watch the. I mean, I definitely watch the recordings and yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I think we'll go ahead and get it kicked off here. Thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate you guys joining. This session specifically is the SC Community 360, how to scale the SC function in other teams with Linda Glucina. My name is Matt Kelly. I'm an enterprise account executive here at Consensus, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Just a few housekeeping things. DEMOFEST is presented by Consensus. Consensus is intelligent demo automation software that helps scale pre-sales with interactive video demos. You can learn more at goconsensus.com or view an automated micro demo at the link in the Docs tab on the right side of your screen. Consensus is proud to provide this event free to all attendees. However, we would like to invite each of you to donate to our company's humanitarian organizations if you'd like to. You can learn more about this and donate by visiting the DEMOFEST Gives Back booth in our virtual expo hall in the booths tab, or at the link in the Docs tab on the right side of your screen. We invite you to join us in our DEMOFEST community on Discord as well. The community is where you can connect with speakers, get exclusive content, access to content and events, and where the conversation will continue long after the DEMOFEST event has ended. We encourage all attendees to join us and so many others. You can join the community at the link in the Docs tab as well. We also encourage you to participate in today's session. On the right side of the console, you're going to see a few ways to engage with us throughout the session. The chat function, first and foremost, will allow you to engage with us as well as other attendees. Throughout the session, you'll also you're going to see a few polls. So we encourage you to participate as your feedback is important to us. Our speaker will be taking questions from the audience at the end of the session, but we also encourage you to ask those questions at any time through the Q&A box there. If at any time you're having technical difficulties, you can head to the gear at the bottom of your screen. And here you'll see a help document, and you can actually troubleshoot common issues that you might have. And so now I'd like to go ahead and introduce our speaker, Linda Glucina, of course. She's an advisor working strategically with organizations to achieve their maximum pre-sales potential through leading-edge technologies, processes, and services. And with that, I'll turn the rest of the time over to you, Linda.
And thank you, Matt. I'll just share my screen, and we'll get on our way. I'll just brilliant. Okay, well, welcome to the session, and thank you for joining us here. I'll just wait me a moment, just get myself a little bit more organized. So this session here is all about the SC community, and what we'll do, and I'll just walk through to, sorry, I'm just going to get my logistics organized. I'm not sure, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be working. Here we go. All right. So what we'll be doing today is I'll give you some background on MYOB. That's the organisation I work for. As Matt said, I'm the Solution Consulting Manager there and have been working for MYOB for a couple of years and actually set up the enterprise pre-sales function. We'll then look at the definition of SC community, what it means to you, what we've defined it at MYOB. And then we'll walk you through the SC community framework. So a step-by-step way of creating a community within your organisation, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. But during the session, feel free to put questions in the chat. And as I said, we will be opening up about 3 polls during the session. So please, I would like you to participate. So first of all, I'd like to give you some background on MYOB and set the scene as to why we created a community. So MYOB, you might not have heard of us, but we are one of the largest software organisations in our region, my region, which is Australia and New Zealand, and has been part of the fabric of doing business in Australia and New Zealand for more than 30 years. And we've grown from, the original, we were one of the first unicorns, and now we employ approximately 1,800 people across both Australia and New Zealand, based out of 9 locations. So MYOB software is designed to simplify accounting and financial management for businesses, allowing them to focus on their core operations, but MYOB does more than accounting and payroll software. So we are a business management platform that integrates key workflows and tasks so businesses can easily adapt and run their business from one platform. So we do everything from finance and inventory management to employee onboarding and payroll, And in addition to its software products, MYOB also provides a range of training and support services to help businesses make the most of its software investment. So the company's software, so MYOB software is used by over 1 million businesses in Australia and New Zealand, with more than 1 in 5 Australians paid through MYOB software. So making it one of the most popular accounting software solutions for SMEs and mid-market organisations in our region. So that's the background of MYOB. So, and I think we were supposed to run a poll, but yeah, probably run that poll now, Matt. The one about communities. What I'd like to now know is to understand what your definition of community is. Like, what do you believe a community should be? And Matt, I'll stop sharing. There we go. Thank you. And the votes coming in. All right, so might call it there. So what we've got a group of individuals who share common interests, characterised by a sense of belonging and a mutual support, a shared identity. We've got communities that can be based on various factors, such as geographic location, and involve social interactions, collaboration, and people working towards a common goal. So it's probably all of those things. And for all organisations, we really need to look at what we're trying to achieve within the SC community. And if you can just stop sharing, Matt, that'd be great. Thank you. All right, so this is our definition of, or this is MYOB's or my solution consulting team's definition of what a community means for us. It's groups that can improve their outcomes with solution consulting IP and best practice. So pretty much any area of the business that can improve what they do with SC Smarts. And and just so you know, we refer to ourselves as solution consultants, but you know, we are the pre-sales team. Yep. So what I'd like to do before we go forward and understand why we would introduce an SC community, I'd like to go back in time 30 years ago to what pre-sales teams did then, and just walk you through that. So pre-sales teams 30 years ago were primarily focused on helping businesses identify the most appropriate products or services to meet their needs. And these teams were composed of experts in a particular industry or technology who would work closely with sales teams to provide technical expertise and support during the sales process. And at that time, businesses were beginning to adopt new technologies and software solutions, and pre-sales teams played a crucial role in helping them navigate the complexities of these products. And pre-sales teams would typically meet with prospective clients to understand their specific requirements and offer advice on which products or solutions would be most suitable. And once a client had expressed interest in a particular product or solution, the pre-sales team would work on creating a detailed proposal outlining the benefits of the product or solution, as well as any costs and implementation timelines. And this proposal would be presented to the client as part of the sales process, helping to persuade them to choose the product or solution being offered. And onwards. So if you listen to that, not much has changed in 30 years. Pretty much every single pre-sales team would be doing that, right? So what we need to look at, you know, what would we be doing differently? So now we work in SaaS organizations, yeah, where the focus on velocity and site numbers is valued. Whereas 30 years ago, the size of the opportunity was celebrated. So the more sticky they were, the more complex they were, and the harder it was for them to move, from our solution, the better. And now we measure the trade-off between profitability and growth, and we have the rule of 40, which asserts that SaaS companies should be targeting their growth rate and profit margin to add up to 40% or more. So a great customer experience is linked to revenue success, as happy customers purchase more. So pre-sales capability needs to be embedded throughout all of the sales channel and not just at the acquisition stage. And this is where the concept of creating an SE community arose, to structure the management of SE capability in business units that focus on other functions. So examples are like the customer success team, the education team, partner channels, professional services, and marketing. Okay, Matt, I'll just ask you to run the next poll, please, and I'll just stop sharing. I'll just get there. Where am I? There we go. And this poll's all about what IP does your team create. So this is all the goodness that as a solution consulting team you would be creating within your team or for your organization. And it's good to see that at a Consensus DEMOFEST, we've got organisations that create videos, because that would be weird if we didn't. Thank you, and thank you for participating. Excellent. So we've got PowerPoints, we've got videos, and the other major ones. Excellent. All right. So I'll close the poll. If you can just stop sharing, Matt. Seems like we've got a few demo environments, a demo environment, and a video and PowerPoints. Excellent. Thank you. Right. I'll just get organised again. Okay. All right. So within my team, because we're a software vendor, we have to pretty much create everything from solution architecture documents to PowerPoint presentations to demonstration scripts to the actual demonstration environments. We have a lot of product knowledge. We have to have that. We create consensus videos. We have hundreds of them for all different and all different types. We use it across our demand generation team. Our marketing team use our consensus videos as input into the customer facing or the ones that they land on the website. We create all the qualification guides, so what tools our channels use and what we use internally to qualify an opportunity. All the competitor knowledge. We create documentation to the feature functions, comparisons, and demonstration data maps. Also, we also use Loopio as well. So Loopio is used not just by us to respond to RFX, responses. But also, our security team is using it to manage their security and governance material. So there's a lot of IP and best practice sitting in our team. And also we create a lot of data and a lot of insights because, within the organisation, my team has the best report writers, regardless of what anybody other team seems to think. We have the best report because that's what we do all day, every day. So, the IP and the solution consulting team can impact the trajectory for any organisation, and it should be harnessed. Yeah. So created a wheel to, I suppose, visualize what the solution consulting community could look like. And, you know, it can comprise of solution consulting best practice. So all the best practice that you utilize to, you know, run your team, but also the automation tools that you might bring to the party. And what you want to do is to minimize, you know, the cost of acquisition, reduce duplication of effort, and improve the customer experience, is to build a bespoke solution consulting function for each of your SC communities. So, you know, lowering the cost of acquisition of acquiring customers, not working in silos, and providing the you know, the customers that improved customer experience, while also scaling the solution consulting function, will lead to a better outcome for your organisation, and assist you to achieve whatever the outcomes that you're after, whether it's increased ARR, reducing your churn, whatever those metrics are. So now I'll walk you through the SC community framework. So starting a community can be exciting and rewarding experience, but it's important to consider several things before you get started. So you need to define the purpose of your community, i.e., what will it be about? What need or problem will it solve? What type of people will be interested in joining? And clearly articulating the purpose of your community will help you attract the right members and keep them engaged. So there needs to be value for the solution consulting team to support an SC community. There's no point in doing this if it won't help your team scale, and also, will the community that you're looking to stand up be able to deliver your IP and best practice in a professional manner? If they're not mature enough, do you want to let them loose with doing some of the tasks that your team currently does? Also, there needs to be value for the SC community. Will using the SC IP and best practice support them to achieve their goals? Because if they don't see any value, there's no point in them working with you. So then you need to determine the specific group of people who would benefit most from utilising the solution consulting IP. This will help you to tailor your sales approach and messaging to resonate with your potential community leaders, because you do need to do a pitch, selling the idea of working together. And the thing is, when you speak to them and you pitch, they might like the idea of getting your IP without actually doing anything to support your team, or even getting your team to do the work. As we all know, everybody loves the SC team to do work on their behalf, because we are the awesome team within most organisations. So what you need to do is you need to set expectations for engagement and adhere to the scope and process that you want to introduce. You need to set expectations up front as to what they will be expected to do if they are to receive a dedicated resource to facilitate access to your team and your IP and best practice. You need to create sales materials that effectively communicate your value proposition to the other business units. And these materials should be tailored to your target community and sales process, because education team is different from a reseller partner. And you want to you want to inspire the leaders to agree to becoming an SC community member. You need to identify the people that you want to reach with your community. So who's their audience? What are their needs and interests? And understanding that will help you to build your pitch. And you need to understand the sales channels that they will be using. So is it the direct sales, resellers, or a combination of channels? So each channel will require a unique approach and sales strategy. You need to set clear goals. You need to set clear, measurable goals for your community. What do you want to achieve? What do they want to achieve? How will you measure success? Having clear goals will help you stay focused and motivated. What goals are they trying to achieve, and how best can they leverage the SC team? How will you measure, monitor, and report on success? Because both teams will have to be reporting to somebody on how they on why they're putting this effort and focus to and delivering this to deliver an outcome. And what processes do you need to put in place to ensure success of the initiative? So these are some of the things that you need to work through if you are to have a successful community. We already talked about IP. So, developing the material that's bespoke for each community. So, you might create PowerPoints, you might create, demonstration environments and demonstration scripts, but are they at the level that community can consume? Because if they're not consumable, they won't be able to use it and you won't get the result that you need. So you also need to choose the right platform. So, will you be working with them online or offline? Do you need to set up, enhanced security in the platforms that you currently use because they can only access certain material? You need to consider, factors such as ease of use, scalability, when choosing your platforms. Okay, the who is really, really important. You need to identify a resource in your team or hire in who can lead the SE community and mentor them to set the structure up and execute the role successfully. So you need somebody that can develop into that role because it's not a normal role that sits within an SE team or pre-sales team. They will know how to pitch the idea of an SE community to the other business units, structure the terms of engagement, and monitor and report. They need to establish the clear rules and guidelines, i.e. what behavior is acceptable and what isn't, and what are the consequences for, breaking the rules if they're not, working within or taking working within your guidelines. They need to clearly communicate your expectations, and this will help to ensure a positive and productive environment. So who will be responsible for enforcing the rules and ensuring that discussions remain within scope? So, and also you need to, identify who the dedicated sponsors will be to help you maintain a positive and engaging environment. So a dedicated SC community pre-sales person needs to have clear guidelines also. You need to, set the structure for this job description. And following are some examples that can be used in a job description. So you could say things like, work with enablement to ensure that the SE community material is reusable. Plan with enablement on how to deploy the SC soft skills training material because, we have to, we build IP to manage, to reuse as soft skills or introduce soft skills within our team. So how do you do that? Coordinate expansion and migration consensus videos. So how do we, spread our consensus videos throughout the organizations? Ensure all the partner success managers and customer success managers have access to the tools required. So do they need demonstration environments, the demo scripts, the consensus videos to execute to the level required, to have SC checkpoints? And that's what you would introduce as well. You'd introduce checkpoints to make sure that the members in that community are executing and using your IP and best practice in a professional manner. And you could also say things like plan with the SC and community success leaders a roadmap to ensure that all go-to-market activity and new product releases are able to be supported. So these are some of the things that you can introduce into the job description to support the who and the person that will be, be the contact or the conduit to your team and the leader for the SE community. So also when engaging with your community, you could do something as simple as saying, well, these are the things that we will do. This is the scope. This is what we will work with you on. So it's really clear and as a starting point and introduce into your pitch. You also need to specifically, list out what you will not do. What are the exclusions? So you're not going to act as a help desk. You're not going to, you might, they might identify product gaps, but you're not going to be the organization or the team that fixes it. And you're not going to do the work for them. You are helping them to, work towards their own goals, utilizing or reusing your IP. You're not, you're not there to build new IP for them. So I'm just going to stop sharing now, and we'll just run the very last poll. So Matt, if I could just, yep. So what I want to understand is, how do you currently communicate with others within your organization or externally? So what is some of the tools that you use? Looks like a lot of meetings happening. Collaboration software. So nobody goes to the pub, meets them socially. Post-COVID world. Yeah. And email. Excellent. Thank you. So it looks like we're using a lot of remote, not many newsletters, not meeting anybody socially, and yep, a lot of email. Thank you. All right, I might close the poll. So if you can stop sharing, thanks, Matt. Okay, so just get myself organized again. So communication is really important. So you need to define how you're going to communicate with your community. You need to establish clear communication channels for your community. And it might be a combination of informal, if you possibly can, if you're in the same office, to meet with them. How will members, will there be regular updates or newsletters? You need to develop a plan for promoting your community. So what channels will you use to promote it? There are various types of communication methods, and you probably need to cycle through these and identify which ones will work best, because it's not all the it's not the remote ones that we're used to using now. So it could be things like, if we can possibly, the verbal communication, so face-to-face conversations, phone calls, meetings, presentations, speeches, and written memos or reports. We've got written communication, so we've got emails, letters, reports, articles, text messages, and chat messages, which we seem to be using a lot of. What visual communication will you use? So you're going to use some graphs, some charts. You saw the circle, the wheel. So what other material do you need to create? So presentations, videos, electronic communication. So, instant messaging, video conferencing, social media platforms, online forums. Are you going to use interpersonal communication? So one-on-one conversations, small group discussions. Are you going to use formal communication? So that could be, official memos, reports, organizational newsletters, and formal meetings. And then we've got the informal communication. So going to a bar, pub, water cooler discussions, and other informal gatherings. And for, even in Australia and New Zealand, we need to be aware of cross-cultural communication. So being aware of, the types of communities, or the types of people, the members in your communities, and understanding if you need to, change or adjust your style slightly to make sure that culturally, your communication is clear. So they're just some examples of communication methods that you need to be aware of, and sort of cycle through them and make sure that you're just not focusing on a handful of communication methods, to make sure that you're able to support sustainability, which is we're coming to the end now. So sustainability is about developing a plan for sustaining that community over the long term. So how will you continue to attract and engage people? People come and go. So you might set it up wonderfully at the beginning and it's all going well, but then, people leave, your sponsors leave. So how will you support that long-term sustainability? What resources do you need? How do you set up a system for tracking and measuring your results? And this will help you identify what is working well and what needs improvement, and to make those data-driven decisions to optimize your outcomes. So, the metrics could be, are we impacting the lead generation? Are we impacting conversion rates, sales volume, customer satisfaction? Are we reducing churn? All of those wonderful things. So you're going to get some time back, and we're going to open up for Q&A. So I've given you some background on MYOB. So MYOB, we've got 1,800 staff. We support everything from SME, relatively, single user solutions, up to tier 1 solutions. So we're really broad. And that's why we've introduced the SC community, because we are a software vendor and we create a lot of the material, and we will reuse that throughout all of our communities. We looked at the SC community definition. So what does that mean to you? Talked about what it means to us. It's about looking for other business units or channels or sales channels that will benefit from reusing our IP and our best practice to help them achieve their goals, but also to help us pre-sales team scale. Yep. We looked at the community framework. So what is the purpose? What are you trying to achieve by setting up a community? And what is the who are the right communities? And if you're identifying your target communities, who are the right teams or groups or business units or channels that you should be working with? Because not all of them will be, I suppose, being able to use your IP in the appropriate manner. And also, the IP might be great, but it might not actually help them achieve their goals. We create roadmaps with our communities to identify, what we want to achieve with them. And as part of that, we clearly identify the goals that both sides, because it's a partnership, what both teams are trying to achieve, and what the timeframes are. We need to look at what IP we're going to use. Do we need to make it bespoke? Who's going to make it bespoke? Is it your team? Is it their team? And set those clear guidelines as to what you're going to be doing. The who. So who in your team is going to be the person that will help you create the do the pitches, work with the teams, make sure that they're measuring and reporting back on, is it being successful? Is it achieving what you originally set out to do with both sides? And what communication methods are you going to use? So each community is different. You need to be aware of those cultural nuances, and also not all communication styles or tools will be appropriate. And sustainability. So how are you going to sustain this? How are you going to keep your community alive? And what needs to be done to do that? And what sponsors do you need? And what is the right messaging? And with that, I'm going to open it up to Q&A. If anybody has any questions, Matt, were there any questions at all in the chat?
Yeah, so it doesn't actually look like we have any questions in there. I appreciate that presentation, Linda. That was great. Yeah, we want to remind everyone to please put your questions in the chat, in the Q&A section there. We'll try to answer as many as we can. Let me see here. I don't see any in there right now. Actually, I had a question for you, Linda. In terms of the who, I guess any maybe like tips or tricks or based on like kind of the people that you're working with, what their experiences are, things like that. Who would be the best, I guess, based on experiences, based on what they've done, things like that to kind of fill that who gap, I guess.
Good question, Matt. So we have a reseller channel that we work with. I have an SC or a pre-sales person that manages that channel, and they I suppose they had some previous experience working with partners. So, but it's a difference. There's definitely a difference between people that work with partners actually doing, like, working on an opportunity, as opposed to structuring, the requirements that each the partner community requires. So you really need to work with the person and help them set up that structure and give them guidance as to how to I suppose set those guidelines, set the scope of how they're going to interact, because what they're doing is they're acting as a conduit into your team. And if they're not really I suppose clear and firm about the what the asks are and how you're going to work with the other community, it can lead to almost a stream of requests coming in that you didn't initially have capacity for, and or you really that wasn't what you intended. So you need to find somebody that's really I suppose strong and able to be firm as required. We've also got there's somebody that a resource who is the SE community lead, and so they're working with our customer success team, also working with our education team as well, setting up hubs within the SE community. So the customer success team. So that particular, because we're very, very broad in what we do, this particular person is, I suppose, across, we've almost got two arms of our team, and so they're across functionally across all the functionally requirements, I suppose, within that team. And so it's really about making sure, like, mentoring them to set up that structure as well. So it's really about and it's also important to find somebody that wants to do the role, not all the people in a pre-sales team, because they're all great problem solvers and they love being in front of a customer and they love being in there and working with the technology, want to take on a role like an SE community lead. So it's really important to make sure that first of all, they want to do the role, and that they are also able to elevate themselves from just being a doer to somebody that can be that conduit and make sure that they're setting both teams up for success.
Awesome. Great. So it doesn't look like we have any other questions or anything in the chat or in the Q&A. So I think we can maybe wrap up here a little bit early.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate you joining the session. Feel free to reach out if you have any specific questions that you might not want to put in the chat. And happy to walk you through, or have a one-on-one session as to how we do what we do, and how we support the SC community framework within our team, and take you a little bit further into the detail. And thank you very much, Matt, for being a great support during the presentation.
Of course. No. Thank you, Linda. We appreciate it. It was a great presentation. Also, just want to remind everyone about the DEMOFEST game, where each session you attend and each session feedback survey that you fill out gets you points to win some of our awesome prizes. And just a kind of a quick reminder, we're also going to be bringing DEMOFEST on the road again as DEMOFEST X. We had a great time here in San Francisco just a couple of months ago. We can't wait to bring the event to Dublin, London, and then New York City later this year. Yeah, you can actually register to join us at any of those at demofest.com, which is also at the link in the docs tab on the right side of your screen. And then we also encourage you to stop by our expo hall to visit our premier partners of DEMOFEST. Remember, there's no transfer of money involved in the event. So all of our partners, here, they've gone above and beyond to contribute to making this event a success for everyone. Thanks so much again for joining us for the SC Community 360. Thank you to Linda for that valuable insight and knowledge. And that's it for the day, and appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.